I just felt like this is the girl that gets me. She's my other half of, what I can't do. She will pick up the slack. What she can't do, I'll pick it up. So I knew it was something I saw in her, and I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And when she was so hesitant, I just kept pushing her, like, we can do this. Like, I don't feel like we met for I feel like we met for a reason. So I just kind of stayed with her and I kept pushing her. I think it paid off because we do so good together. We do great business together. So I'm glad that I did push her forward to go ahead and start it with me.
So in this business, you tend to meet people a lot of times through social media. I was blessed to meet a client of today's guest a few months ago, Reggie Calhoun Jr. If you haven't checked out that episode, check it out. Reggie is a member of the UpNext Sports Consultant family. And today I have the honor of speaking with the owners of that brand, Miss Celia Newman and Miss Christian Ross-France. So the two ladies come on and talk about how they have commanded their presence in the field and some of the struggles that they experience being Black women in sports, as well as how they came together and how they realized that they could be a force to be reckoned with. So sit back, and I promise you'll enjoy this conversation. Here's my interview with the CEOs of the UpNext Sports Consultant Firm. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling. I'm Brian H. Waters, and I am joined by two powerful women in the sports industry. I have the honor and pleasure to be joined by Miss Celia Newman and Christian Ross-Francis. Ladies, how y'all doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to make it. Unfortunately, we're in the midst of the pandemic, so as much to be expected.
Definitely understand that.
Yeah. So how's everything as far as, we're in the midst of a pandemic. How are y'all doing mentally? Before we really get into, the business aspect, how are y'all doing mentally as holding up?
Ever since the pandemic started, I was, it kind of took a toll on me because, it like sports had stopped and I was like, I couldn't figure out like what my next move was going to be because at the time I was like coaching and everything like that. And so everything had stopped. So like mentally, I haven't like really been there, but my business has kept me going, if that makes sense. So it's been a toll, but mentally I'm getting better. I'm learning to navigate through the pandemic, so that's a good thing.
That's awesome. Celia, how about you?
I just try, honestly, to stay busy, to keep my mind off of not knowing, what's next or the uncertainty. Because it has been a drastic change for me. I'm in Memphis, basketball city. So it's kind of slowed down business, but you convert, you adapt, and I mean, it's kind of been good actually, because I've gotten a lot more work done.
Exactly. Same here.
Well, that's the blessings. Being able, my mother always say, life will do you lemons, make lemonade, so hearing that you ladies have been able to do that is great. How did y'all meet?
Exactly. So the crazy part about it, we met on Instagram. And so we met about a year ago or two. Oh, it may have been a year ago, but I was doing an event in Memphis for my nonprofit called Life Beyond the Rim. And, I utilize social media to the T. So I'm just trying to figure out who's in Memphis, who's who in Memphis. And so I came upon her profile. And so I kind of reached out her to do an event. But unfortunately, she was busy that weekend that I was doing my event, but we stayed in touch. And so we kind of like got that chemistry and that bond by just talking to each other, getting to know each other. And it was definitely something that was like mutual. Like we just was like, we just bonded off top, and we had the same kind of goals, mindset far as like business, and just really, wanting to help student athletes. And so that's kind of how we bond. We met over Instagram. Then from there, we kind of kept staying in touch. And then from there, she was like, hey, we should start a business together. And I was like, at first I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, because at the time I was working for a pro basketball team, and that was like a lot on my plate working for them. And so I was like, no. And then we kind of was like, it was still in the air. And I was like, well, give me some time to think about it, and we can come to that. And so we kind of put it off for like a year, but we still kept talking about it. And then actually we launched this year, and we was like, we just going to launch it, girl. And then ever since we put it out there, it's just everybody being so receptive to us. You know what I'm saying? Because at first I was kind of like, oh, we just Black women in sports. I don't think we're gonna, at first I was thinking like, I don't think we would do, you know what I'm saying? I don't think people would like really gravitate towards us. But I just took a chance on faith, and then just really trusted my business partner, and just took the time out and just was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's launch it. And we launched it during the pandemic, which I feel like was a great time, because it really we really was working, so it really worked out for us, I could say, because because we could really focus on our business. So that's the long version.
No, I love it.
Of how we met.
Celia, you shot your shot, and when she was a little hesitant, what made you? Well, first and foremost, how did you know that Chris was somebody you wanted to start a business with, and what made you say, like, when she was hesitant, to kind of be persistent?
Um, Honestly, I get vibes from people. Like I could tell if our visions will align. Like I could tell if we're gonna get along. Like so from the conversations I had with her on the phone, I just felt like this is the girl that gets me. She's my other half of, what I can't do. She will pick up the slack. What she can't do, I'll pick it up. So I knew it was something I saw in her, and I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And when she was so hesitant, I just kept pushing her, like, we can do this. Like, I don't feel like we met for I feel like we met for a reason. So I just kind of stayed with her, and I kept pushing her. I think it paid off because we do so good together. We do great business together. So I'm glad that I did push her forward to go ahead and start it with me.
I do agree.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. As somebody myself who has a joint wrestling show, and I was telling Chris before we started recording, next year I'll be celebrating 10 years with my co-host, and Dwayne and I met in college, and it was sort of kind of the same thing. Like we started talking wrestling, and I knew he was the person that I could really like grow into this with. But if you look at the logos, if you're looking at your screen, like all the designs, like the poster, he's the person who actually designed all that. So like you said, having somebody who can do something for you that you can't, or vice versa, or that you can learn from, I think is huge. Where did y'all love for sports begin? As somebody, I used to work at ESPN for 2 years, and one of the biggest things, shout out to my good brother Luis Sanchez, the owner of My W Sports. We met there, and his goal was to get to ESPNW, and unfortunately that company dropped the ball, having a man that's so passionate about women's sports and not allowing him to work with that. But one of the things I've always said was that women are very important to sports because they see
Amen.
yeah, y'all see things that we don't. God made us differently for a reason, and
Right.
I have some of my best sports conversations with women, and I mean, a lot of my guests on this podcast have been women, but at ESPN, my biggest issue was they could make people care about women's sports. They just didn't want to. They just wanted us
Yeah.
to care about UConn women's basketball because it was in their backyard. But where did y'all love for sports begin?
Well, my love for sports came from pretty much like I've been playing basketball like my whole life. I started playing in elementary. And so that right there kind of grew over time as I got older. And so I was just like, I always like in the midst of me playing, I never had the help that I can provide for athletes today. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much did everything for myself. Like I pretty much found the college that I wanted to go to and got a scholarship and went overseas. I did that for myself. And then it just over time, it just pretty much grew for me not having that support and that help. That pretty much gave me the passion of wanting to be a woman in sports and really help other athletes as well. So my love from sports really came from high school to college to playing overseas because I never had that help. And so now that I can provide that help for people, I think that's pretty much where my passion came from.
That's awesome. How about you, Celia?
Mine's pretty much the same, from playing the sport, and I took a different route than Christian. I got into athletic training. So I was there helping with the rehab process and, the mental aspect of being away from the game, helping the athlete, get back on the floor. And then I took an internship here in Memphis. I worked in the academic counseling center. So just being around the athlete every day, with study hall and helping them with personal and career development, that kind of helped me to realize like this is what I want to do full time. Like I love the aspect of helping them off the court. So
Exactly.
that's kind of where our passions kind of align because we both have that drive to want to help them outside of their sport, like to not only help them get things in life, but just be successful all around.
Right.
Now, who were some of your favorite sports teams growing up?
My favorite sport team was the 76ers because I love Allen Iverson. I was one of them players that used to like, hey, I can do this like Allen Iverson. I'm like, doing all the AI moves and stuff like that. So
Did you have a pair of
76ers.
Reeboks?
Yes, I did. I love my Reeboks. And then I kind of, and I was also a Jordan fan as well. So the Bulls, of course. And then I was a Detroit fan as well because I just love their aggressiveness. They was a very aggressive team like back in the day. So
wait, so you
that's
like
pretty
Detroit and the Bulls?
Yes. I'm saying growing up, when you grow up, you just gravitate to whoever you like. You like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that 2004 team still makes me mad. But then again, I can only be so mad because it was a wonder how Kobe and Shaq, me being a Laker fan, even got to the finals.
right.
Celia, how about you?
Chicago Bulls fan. And then I've been a diehard Memphis fan since I was a child, just because my uncle kind of raised me up in it. So I've been to so many Tigers games. So college, Memphis Tigers, and then pro, Chicago Bulls.
Oh, okay. So you're not a Grizzlies fan?
No.
Oh,
Sorry,
they gonna
Memphis.
ban us. They gonna ban us from Memphis.
I understand. We see right now, we see a lot of the gates being knocked down. I saw a tweet yesterday, and it basically said that women could do these jobs, but they had gatekeepers in the way because, like I said, I don't want to just say as a father or a husband or as a brother because that makes it seem like that's the only reason why I care about these issues. But I will say that I love the fact that I can tell my daughter now, hey, you can be anything you want to be. If you want to get into sports, she was watching me play NBA 2K and she was like, can girls play that? And I could say, yes, they are on the video games, where I couldn't have said that 10 years ago. But we see that women have always been qualified. It's just that now the gates are being broken. What do you think is something that we haven't seen yet? We, like I said, we've seen women become referees. We've seen women become coaches. Becky Hammond is right there to becoming a NBA head coach, in my opinion. But what is something we haven't seen yet that y'all think? And it's obviously a lot of work to do. But what's the one thing that stands out?
Because I feel like women, we pretty much did everything as a collective whole. But I know one day, I pray that, one day UpNext Sports is going to be a multi-million-dollar company, and it's going to be owned by two women, and they're going to be Black at that. So that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing that hasn't been done, because I don't know no other sports consulting firm that is Black owned and women owned that is a multi-million-dollar company. But I know UpNext Sports is going to be there one day. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Will y'all hire Black males? Asking for myself.
I don't know. I want an all women's team. I don't know. Nah.
Look, that's understandable. I'm still gonna be right here to support.
I would like to see a female president.
Okay.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we are almost there. Definitely.
Yeah, I really hope and pray that I'm not a politician, I'm not an expert, but the same way we've seen vice presidents be up next and become president, which we should have saw in 2000, in my opinion. I really hope we could see that happen with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I would really love to see that.
Yes, me too. I totally agree.
Yeah. Now, Chris, you've been coaching. You obviously you talked about being a coach. How has being a coach, because one of the things you said earlier was there wasn't these services when you were playing. How has being a coach allowed you to serve athletes better, like having that coach's eye, but also that business aspect? How does being a coach allow you to do the be better as far as UpNext is concerned?
Right. So like me being a coach and also played, and then also, on the business side, I feel like I can give a lot to those student athletes that come into my path. I can give advice. I can tell them which way they need to go. I can tell them how to, simple stuff like how your highlight tape should be, how your resume should look, the type of people that you need that I can connect you with. And I feel like that is something that I can like give to athletes that, what I'm saying, that I didn't have.
Now, Celia, can you tell us about She Got Game?
Well, She Got Game is a semi-pro league that I started here in Memphis last year. I just saw that there was no female leagues in Memphis. There was a few church leagues, but not as competitive. And I was like, I want to fill that void. So I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. I just kind of went around to a few open gyms and I found Ashley Shields, WNBA legend. And she agreed and she loved my idea. I give the proceeds back in the form of a scholarship here in Memphis. So she was all on board and she kind of spread the word and it took off. So now I'm going into my 4th season, and next year I'll be in 6 different cities with the league. So it took off extremely fast and I'm so excited for next year.
All right. And how can we find the league and get it out to the people for those who may not be familiar?
They can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, She Got Game League, and the website is shegotgameleague.com.
Okay. Now, for the both of you, what is the one sport that you want to represent next? That like from which athlete or which sport would you like to welcome into the UpNext family?
The sport that it's a couple of sports that I wanted to add. Soccer is one of them. I want to do international because I know overseas is really big over there. And then also football as well here in America. I think that's something that I want to tap into as well. And I think that's it, like soccer and football.
Okay. Now I gotta ask y'all this question. And both of you, you decide who go first. The title of the show is called "Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling." What was your breaking through the glass ceiling moment? The moment that you knew you were doing what you were supposed to do and that you were in the space that you belong to.
I noticed when I was interning for a sports agency. Just me being in that atmosphere and like actually doing in the work, putting in the work, meeting athletes and talking to athletes, getting to know athletes. That pretty much was my breaking point, because I'm like, okay, I love doing this. Like I see myself doing this long term, like consulting, talking to athletes, and pretty much, being around sports and not just playing or coaching, but actually on the business side of things. So that was pretty much my breaking moment right there.
Um, I guess mine would be this season that I just finished. Um, I I guess looked around and saw how many men were at the games, just supporting the She Got Game League. Most of the time we don't get that many fans at a women event. People show up and pack the house for men's games, and just seeing the crowd and people coming up to me, mostly men, saying you're doing a great job. Like, we love this league. We love watching women compete, and you're putting on a great league for our city. So that was kind of my breakthrough the ceiling moment. Like, to see how much men support the league is great.
Wow, that's amazing. Um, as we, moving forward into 2021, I have to say, like, I love the fact that y'all doing this. I can't express that enough. What can people do to support Up Next?
Send
Um,
clients our way.
Staying clients, yes. Quality
And share,
clients at that.
share. It's always good just to share your friends' posts. Like,
Yes,
it's
follow, comments, just engage on social media. Just, wanting to learn more about, Up Next, you can go online. Pretty much just, spreading the word. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff that we do now is like word of mouth. So we got good reviews. A lot of people love us. So I think that's something that can be done. Just follow, go to our page, like, share, all that.
And for those who don't understand, can y'all just like kind of break down your services? Because people may think, well, what can I exactly use them for? And we know the importance of branding, but for those who do not understand, can you break down like your services that you provide?
So we pride ourselves on being a one-stop shop. So we pretty much, if you need help with anything, you can come to us. But we really do branding, marketing. We help you with placement, and we also do sporting events. And then we also pretty much do. My mind went blank. This just the overall of it: branding, marketing, um, sporting events, placement, and we're going to start doing branding courses as well.
Awesome. That's awesome. And so before we get out of here, can you let the people know where they can find you?
Yes, you can follow us on Instagram at UpNext Sports Consulting. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as at UpNext Sports Consulting. And then you can also check out our website at www.upnextsportsconsulting.com.
Awesome. Awesome. So I really appreciate y'all taking this time. I know y'all have a busy schedule, and I'm
Yes,
excited to be connected with you two. And whatever I can do to help, let me know. And we can definitely, continue to work together. I think that's the thing that
definitely.
a lot of people don't understand. And I'm happy to see in 2020 a lot of Black people coming together and working together. And I also always believe that we can be the most powerful and most dominant if we do that.
Exactly. I do agree with that. We just got to come together. That's how I feel.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Alrighty,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed that episode. The beauty of this podcast is that it allows me to make new connections and build relationships. So I'm really excited to see what the ladies of Up Next have coming down. Coming up next week, folks, it is the season finale. Yes, I will be taking a break, but before I do that, I am bringing on a longtime friend, a fellow graduate of Morgan State University. The two of us graduated in the great year of 2013, and that is the one and only, the executive producer of the Roland Martin Show, Miss Ashley Banks. You will not want to miss that episode. We talk about her working with Roland Martin, her journey, how she has even maintained her sanity while covering a lot of the civil unrest and the racial injustices. So make sure you're here for that. Like I said, it will be the season finale, as it's been a great season. I've really enjoyed this. So remember, do not let anybody set up a ceiling that you can't break through. This podcast was recorded and edited by B Waters Productions. The music by Hypno Beats. Make sure you follow him at Hypno_Beats with a Z on Instagram.